What's going on, guys? Welcome to another video. In today's video I want to give you guys some tips on how to maximize your muscle gains in the gym. These tips that I'm about to tell you have greatly benefited me during my fitness journey, so I hope they benefit you as well. So without further ado, let's start with tip number 1. So the first tip that I have for you guys is a pretty basic one, and I think most of you guys already implement this tip into your training routine, and that is start with compound movements. But why are you actually starting with compound movements? What is the reason behind starting with a compound movement? Why don't you start with some isolation movements and pre-exhaust the muscle before you actually get into those heavy sets? Now, although you might think that pre-exhaustion training might be beneficial for you because you're actually warming up the muscle before actually getting into those heavy sets, studies have shown that pre-exhaustion training does not improve your ability to perform during compound movements. The reason for this, you guessed it, that's because you exhaust the muscle, so you're not as fresh anymore to go as hard as possible during these compound movements. Compound movements are movements that recruit multiple muscle groups, so therefore you should be fresh when you start with these compound movements, guys. And the best way to be as fresh as possible is when you do these compound movements at the start of your workout. This way you're able to use all of your strength during these exercises. This will also allow you to get better and stronger with these compound movements, allowing you to maximize those muscle gains. So that's why you start with compound movement, guys, if you did or didn't know. Alright, guys, so now that we know that we need to start with compound movements in order to maximize our muscle gains, I'm gonna get into tip number 2, and that is micro-loading. Now let me know in the comments down below how many of you guys have been a victim of ego lifting, huh? How many of you guys? Hey, I have been a victim of ego lifting, guys. But as cool as you might think that you might be lifting those heavy ass weight, you're actually not, and you're actually limiting yourself from the amount of gains that you can make. That is why tip number 2 is micro-loading. And that is actually incrementing the amount of weight with very small portions of weight. 1 kg, 2 kg. Ideally, I would recommend you guys to increment the weight with 2 to 5% of the total amount of weight that you're lifting at that particular moment, guys. So let's say, for example, you're bench pressing 100 kg for 4 reps, for example. Then for the next set, you can increase the amount of weight with about 2%, bringing the total amount of weight to 102 kgs. Now, why have I been a victim of this? And that's because I've never ever thought about increasing the weight with such a small amount. Every time I did increase the weight, I just went ahead and grabbed a minimum of 5 kg on each side, and that was that. I thought I was making progress by doing that, but most of the time the weight ended up being way too heavy, guys, so preventing me from progressing as much as I would like. That is why I want to tell you guys to go ahead and start making those small increments in weight, ideally 2% to 5%, and I will guarantee you that you're gonna see a lot more results by doing it like this. Now, we've talked about compound movement, we've talked about small increments in weight, and now we're gonna talk about tracking your progress. Now, this is something I really still struggle with, guys, and that's because I don't want to be the guy walking around the gym with a notebook. I don't want to be that guy. It's just, not that I have anything against people walking around with notebooks in the gym, but it just seems like a hassle. When I'm in the gym, I'm there to focus on the weights, to crush some weights, to lift some heavy ass weight. I'm not there walking with a notebook and a pen and writing down stuff. I don't want to think about that stuff, man. I want to focus on my workout with some heavy ass tunes between my ears. So that is all that matters right there. I feel that it takes away from my workout. Now, what I'm gonna do actually is I'm gonna do some research, because I actually have heard about some apps where you can actually track all of your workouts. So that is something that I'm willing to give a try. So if you guys want to give it a try with me, then I will link the link to the app down below so you guys can check it out. And the reason why I think this is so important is because you can easily track the amount of weight and reps that you have been doing for the last couple of weeks, and this way allowing for you to keep progressive overload going. Alright, most of the time what I do is focus mainly on the compound movement. I know how much exactly I've been lifting for the last couple of weeks, and this way I know how much weight I can add on and how much reps I've been doing. So that is kind of how I keep track of things. I mean, I've been doing this for a long time, guys, so I do remember exactly how much weight I can do for the compound movement. So as long as you're remembering those numbers, you will still make progress, but still you want to keep improving also on your isolation exercises. So in order to get a better overview and benefit the most from progressive overload, then I would suggest you guys to start tracking your workouts. And the last tip that I have for you guys, and the one that puts everything together and help you get the most amount of benefit from the tips that I mentioned earlier, is, drumroll, eat enough. I mean, everything revolves around eating, guys. Eating. You're not making enough gains? Eat more. You're not getting stronger? Eat enough. Eat enough. Look for an online calculator, guys, and determine the amount of calories that you should be eating. If you don't want to track macros whatsoever, just don't. Just track calories, okay? Make sure that you're eating the right amount of calories, at least maintenance calories, or even better, above calories, in order for you to see the most amount of results from these tips, guys. If you're not eating enough, you're just not going to see the results that you are looking for. Alright, guys, this is probably the tips that I struggled the most when I first started lifting, guys. I just didn't see any results, wasn't seeing any results, and that's because I just wasn't eating enough. Although I was thinking I was eating enough, I just wasn't getting the right amount of calories. Alright, guys, so I cannot stress that enough. Without the right amount of food, you will not see the results that you actually want to see. Alright, guys, so with that being said, guys, I want to finish off this video right here. Those were just some of the tips that I have for you guys. If you guys would like to see a part 2, then let me know in the comments down below, right? And I will make that happen. Didn't want to make this video that long, and I hope I didn't make it that long. But with that being said, guys, I want to finish off this video right here. If you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to leave a like on the video, and let me know what you think of it in the comments down below, alright? So, guys, I'll see you soon. Later, guys.